I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. So, today we're going to wrap up this conversation about screen time with how to create logical consequences if your child is not following the agreement you made, what we talked about yesterday. So, what you want to do is make sure that the agreement was clear, as we talked about yesterday. Have a mutual agreement, make sure it's written down. And if they're not following it, they're not keeping the agreement regularly enough. I mean, everybody makes mistakes here and there, but if they're consistently going over the limits and not keeping whatever agreement that you made together, that's when you can implement logical consequences. So you want to start off with sharing with your child, we made this agreement and I've noticed that it's not working and I'm not comfortable with the agreement being broken regularly. So if this is a good time, let's sit down and talk about creating some logical consequences of what will happen if you don't keep the agreement. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tell your child three things that you love about them. I love how sweet you are with your brother. I love that you help me in the kitchen so much. I love what a great sense of humor you have. I mean, whatever the things are that you love about your child, you want to share with them those three things as the beginning of the parts of this process. And one of the reasons, well, there's two main reasons for this. One is so that you think in terms of consequences and not in terms of punishment. So this is not to punish them for doing something wrong. It's the to create consequential actions when the agreement's not being followed, which does not necessarily mean punishment. And then you want to explain what your problem is with the situation. It's like, my job as your mom is to set good limits, make sure you're not getting too much screen time and turning it into a dunderhead. Just, and when you don't keep the limits, then I'm not doing my job. Or when you don't follow the rules or the agreement that you made, you're breaking your agreement and that's not okay. Or when you stay on the screen too long, you aren't having a life. You're not playing outside, you're not playing with your friends, and that's not healthy. You need to have a more balance in your life. So whatever your problem with the situation is, describe that to them. And then you want to brainstorm solutions. So let's talk about what's going to happen if you don't keep your agreement. What are some solutions? What are some consequences? And brainstorm this together. And it's really important during the brainstorming process that you don't shoot down any ideas so that make sure whatever their ideas are for this, and they're going to say stuff like, I just get unlimited time, and you just write on the list unlimited time. And know that once you get a whole bunch of ideas brainstormed on the paper together, both of you have veto power. And so, you can veto unlimited screen time, but just don't shoot it down during the brainstorming process or they'll shut down and they won't bring any ideas to the table. So you want to create a nice big list of solutions and then choose. And usually what it narrows down to is everything gets vetoed except for their best solution and your best solution. And so I always like to give their solution a shot first and say, okay, let's try that solution for 5 days and see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, then let's try this other solution after that and see how that works out. And then you just see what happens. You've made an agreement. This can get written down again on, another contract of what happens, what are the consequences if the agreement's not kept. And then you look at it and reevaluate it in, 5 days or 7 days or whatever's in a reasonable amount of time and see how it's working. If it's not working, you sit down and you go through the process again. And in terms of screen time for me, ultimately, they have to be responsible for their part in this, and if they're not, I shut it down. Like, I have no problems with removing screen time for a period of time. It's almost like letting them detox because they need to be off of it to get the rhythm of living a real life, having time outside, having time with their friends, having same time with their family. Um, some of these kids just get so involved in their games that uh, they become unsocial. So if you need to, I say take a breather from the screens. If you can't get a child to cooperate and agree to reasonable limits, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And they'll pressure you otherwise, but don't let them. You know what's best for your child, so you do what you think is best. And if if you don't want to have limits, you don't have to. This is you. It's for you. Like that so that you're doing what you think is right for your child. If it's setting limits, I'll help you do that. If it's letting them have as much time and you don't have a problem with that, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody pressure you. You decide. You decide what's right for you and your family. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. In breaking news, leading scientists worldwide are conducting experiments to determine if Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. However, it appears the study was inconclusive, as the scientists couldn't help but eat all the Reese's. Because when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's. Find Reese's now at a store near you.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. I assume you're here because you're getting something out of these daily pep talks. And wouldn't it be great if more parents could hear more about these ideas for their children? And you can help me in a great way by liking the episodes, by sharing them on your social media, and especially by providing a review on your platform of choice. So if you could do me a huge favor and do that, it would really help get this out to many, many, many more parents. And we can all help our children feel more seen, heard, and understood, which is my life's work, is to make sure that all children feel loved and appreciated and that we can discipline them without breaking their spirit. So I hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts and will continue to enjoy them. And I really appreciate any support you can give me here at Positive Parenting Pep Talks. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy parenting.